Hi guys. Baby's sleeping, so my voice is very low. But today I just figured I may as well just capture this moment to make a video about how God can remove people out of your life and bring in the right people in your life. So I guess story time. I feel like the story of Joseph was very, very important in my life, especially when I was going through times of trial, feeling accused of certain things, and I've lost certain friends or boyfriends, and I remember being in that stage of being like, God, why me? And like, what did I do wrong? I feel like my heart is in the right place. I feel like I've only tried to take care of people, and I was being accused of certain things, or like friends wouldn't, like I wanted to be friends with people, and it just like never worked out. So like, I guess a little bit about my background was like, I never felt like I belonged anywhere in high school. And my husband has like a completely different experience of high school or primary school. Like, I think I'm only friends with maybe one or two people from high school. I have heaps of friends from my 20s to 30s, like a really good solid group of friends that I have back in Australia who I dearly miss. And I know that I'm not the only one that's going through this. I know heaps of girls that I am friends with, but you know, really suffered or struggled with friendships, having really good solid friends, and also like, I guess then it kind of permeates into like relationships and whatnot, but we'll talk about friends first. Yeah, so in high school I never really had any friends. I always felt like I never really fit anywhere. I wasn't like nerdy enough, like smart enough to be like the nerdy group. They were like always studying and really super nerdy. I did go to a selective school in Australia, but I never felt like I belonged in a certain group. I went from one school to another school in year 11. So in Australia we have like kindergarten, year 1, all the way to year 12, and then it's university. And all the way even up to like year 12, I felt like I was kind of jumping one group to another group, and I was always trying to find my people. And like the cool people were all having sex and getting drunk and cursing, which again, you know, I'm not perfect. I curse sometimes, especially when I'm like angry or like upset. It's definitely something that I need to work on. But you know, they were having sex, they were going out, and this was like when they were like 13 or 14, and that was like not the cultural background that I grew up in. A very strict Chinese Christian family, that was not on for my family. So I didn't really fit in with the cool people. I never fit in with the nerdy people. And then there was always one person that was kind of mean, and you know, I've forgiven her. It took years for me to forgive people, but I'm finally here, which is great, because I finally realized the reason why it all happened, and this is the point that I'm getting to. So I guess the story of Joseph, and again, I'm not a pastor, so I'm going off my mom brain right now, but I remember being at a stage where, and this touches into a relationship that I nearly got engaged, and that might be another story. If you guys want to listen to that, you can hear about that. But it was a situation with my ex-boyfriend and his friends. And again, I've forgiven them, so this is nothing to say anything bad about them, but it was the time of the BLM COVID. It was like a very, very sensitive time, and we had disagreed on our views, which, you know, it was a very argumentative time. So but it was like something in my spirit was like, I've only been kind to you. Like, how could you be like ruining my character, my name so much. Like, did you not remember all the good things that I did for our friendship? But it kind of drew me and my ex to break up, which now that we've broken up and now I'm married to such a wonderful man, I look at that time being like God had saved me from this relationship, because he had been 1 month away from proposing, and there was always something wrong with his group of friends that I always felt like there was something odd about. Like, they were kind of like, those boys and girls, but they were all kind of like in a relationship, like in a friendship, but like it was a friendship situationship where they were like too close, where I was like, this is a little bit unhealthy, like as if they were like kind of dating but they weren't dating. Anyway, going back to, again, this is not the story about them, but they have been multiple times in my life where like I've tried to be in a group and then like something would happen out beyond my control, and I'm like, why, God? I just want to be friends with these people. Like, I'm trying to be, I'm trying to conform to these people, I'm trying to be kind to these people. I mean, am I not cool enough? Like, is it, what's wrong with me, God? Like, what is wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me why these people don't want to be my friend? Because I just want to be friends. I want to just have a place to where I feel I can belong. And some people here that are listening to this conversation may be like, I have no idea what you're talking about, and so this might just go completely over your head. But I'm praying that this is for somebody that might have some wounds of people that have hurt them, or feeling like they don't belong at whether it's now or previously. So going back to the story of Joseph, it really resonated with me as I was walking with the Lord and kind of like going through my Christian walk. I remember bawling my eyes out when I was reading the story of Joseph, because Joseph literally was like the favorite son. He was the son of the woman that was most loved. So he was like the son that his father prayed for, and then gave him like a colored cloak. His brothers hated him, and all he wanted to do was be friends with his brothers, and he wanted to be part of the group, feeling belonged and feeling like he wanted to be there, and liked. And he had some flaws, and there's obviously flaws about me that are blind spots. Everyone has a blind spot, and whatever I was going through at the time, either being young or immature or whatnot, was to my detriment, I'm sure, to some degree. But in the essence of Joseph, he always felt like he just wanted to belong. He was just the youngest son. He wanted to be a part of the group, and in the end they wanted to kill him and they wanted to slaughter him, and they ended up putting him in a pit, and then taking his cloak, dipping it in blood, and then pretending that he died. And his father was like so upset, and then he ended up getting sold into slavery. And then even into slavery, he ended up raising above. He ended up having favor and blessing from the Lord. And then even then, the wife wanted to, have sexy time with him. And he, due to his morals and ethics, did not want to have sex with her. And then in the end, he ended up getting thrown in prison. And then the story of the dreams, where he ended up interpreting these dreams, which was phenomenal. And then he ended up raising up and saving Egypt out of famine. And so that story now, it was at the time when every single time that I like, it took me years to kind of go through this feeling of like loss and like not belonging, until I found a group of friends that I really, really, truly belonged in. There were a wonderful group of Christian women that were also actors, that I had met and kind of led in Sydney. And they're like all my closest friends, as well as other friends that have been friends for 15 years since I was like in my 20s, my early 20s. But I always still felt like this like sadness of like all the people that had wronged me in my life. And now that I see Joseph and his story, it really resonates with me, because it was like I couldn't be where those people were. I mean, the people that were in high school, a lot of them ended up getting pregnant real young, or like, you know, there were dropouts. And then even the people that I was in my second high school, they were very cliquey in their groups, and they're still friends with each other, which is great, but they never really expanded out, I think. I think they kind of like still in their little bubble. And I feel like God really needed to bring me out to the States, and I also got saved as well. So I really truly got saved in my 20s, and these people were not living godly lives, which doesn't mean you can't be friends with ungodly non-Christian people, but I don't think those people were healthy for me. I just wanted to be popular or cool or part of the group. And also leading back to, I wanted to be with this guy who I thought I loved and needed to marry or wanted to marry, because I really ached to marry somebody, and it was the wrong person, and the Lord had to intervene and bring in just such a random, you know, accusation slash discussion slash disagreement that we could never really move past. And I've never experienced something like that before. So and going back to where Joseph is at the end, where he forgives everyone and he saves you know, Egypt from famine. I'm not saying that I'm Joseph, or you know, that I'm gonna save people from famine, but I know that the Lord has brought me to a different land, and he was from a different land. He moved from one land to another because he was brought into Egypt. And so anyway, I just want to encourage anyone that's out there right now. I know that was like a very long story, but it had a point. My point was, if anyone is going through anything right now, an adversary, accusation, a sense of not belonging, a sense of loss, a sense of like displacement, of not feeling wanted, accepted in a group, like your people are out there somewhere. They might not just be there where you are right now, or maybe God is taking you out of places, and that's okay. That friendship or that group might be a seasonal thing to grow you in some area of your life, to grow you spiritually, and then you have to move on. And some friends are forever, and some people are just seasonal, and that's okay. So I hope that encourages somebody and heals some wounds. Yeah, I was just thinking about that, and it has been on my mind. I had written a blog post many years ago, so I can link that if anyone wants to read that. But anyway, I hope this encourages you. Praying for healing over your heart, for those who are hurting out there for not feeling loved or you know, belonged. But you do belong somewhere, and the Lord is bringing you somewhere, and you might not be there now, but you will be there one day, and you will understand. Like the story of Joseph, or like any other story in the Bible, God always brings you to where you need to be. So anyway, I love you guys, and have a great day. Bye.